And first up is looks, which I'm more than happy to give to you. Now, feel and sound might be a bit of a controversial one, but for me, it's actually quite an easy win for I think I'm going to package that into sort of like an overall performance bundle, and I think I'm going to edge it to the, but out and out forgiveness, I think I would edge that to the big one. Overall best player's distance iron of 2024 goes to... Today I'm testing 7 of the very best player's distance irons head-to-head on GC Quad. I'm going to be breaking it down into different sections and giving a winner for each category. So the irons we're going to be testing are the Mizuno Pro 245, the Taylormade P790, the Ping i530, the Titleist T200, the Callaway Apex AI 200, the Cobra Forged Tec, and the Srixon ZX5. And as always, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the data, into all the numbers, looking at how these heads compare against each other, launch, spin, peak height, distance, all of that jazz. You know how we do it here. If you love what we do, please subscribe. Let's jump in. First up, we're going to be starting in an iron a lot of people might consider a slight underdog when compared to some of the other brands in this test. However, it has been an amazing performer for us this year in the studio, and that is the Cobra Forged Tec. Now, from a swing perspective today, I'm going to be dialing it down a notch from my normal speed, so I'm going to be trying to swing around 80-ish mile an hour. I'm also going to be shallowing out my angle of attack, just because that player profile is who these irons really would be suited towards. They wouldn't necessarily be suited towards my normal speed or delivery, where I'm pretty quick and hit down on the ball a lot, and vice versa. You wouldn't really go into these irons if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of speed, because you're just going to struggle to get the ball up in the air. It's just not going to stay in the air long enough, and you're not going to maximize your carry distance. So these sort of irons are perfect for someone who swings high 70s to low 80s and gets a little scoopy and maybe delivers a little bit too much loft from time to time. So that is exactly the delivery I'm going to be recreating today. Actually felt pretty good. Oh, it's got out there, isn't it? Yeah, it's middled that one. It's a good start. That spin is a little low though, isn't it, there at 5,000. I would say from a looks perspective, from the back, I really like this Cobra. It's super clean. I mean, it's very much reminiscent of this type of iron nowadays, isn't it? All of the player's distance irons, for the most part, have gone sort of hollow body, so clean back look. And yeah, I think that's a strong, for me personally, I would give that a 7 out of 10 looking from there. And then even down by the ball, to be honest, the Cobras, it actually does look like quite a compact, almost player's iron, really. So for an iron that's this kind of strong in loft and gives us this sort of performance, the look from the back and the look down by the ball, I mean, yeah, it's just got players written all over it. Oh, that was toey. That'd be interesting to see what that does. I mean, what a result. I mean, this green isn't particularly friendly because apparently it just slopes all the way down towards the back. But that was, yeah, that was 18 mil toe. So that really wasn't a good strike, probably somewhere around that sort of area there. Still 135 efficiency, so still retained very good efficiency. Still carried 151, even though straight away I knew that that was a miss hit. That was out of the toe, and it will be tough, but at the end, I will try and give you my number 1 in the forgiveness category. Again, it was a fraction toey. Oh, this green is absolutely horrible, isn't it? Like, it's sloping off all over the shot. Yeah, a little bit toey. There's a good chance that that will be my average strike with all the clubs, so it should be fairly consistent and at least be a fair comparison of all the clubs. But again, even then, still 135 efficiency, very similar launch and spin, 18 launch, 5,000 backspin, 150 carry. Seems very consistent. And even feel-wise, I'd say you can kind of tell it's hollow body, because it does feel like it jumps a little bit off the face. It feels a bit poppy, a bit explosive, which I actually don't mind, but it's still quite like a dull, thuddy feel at the same time. It almost does feel like a forged iron, but just with like a little bit of an extra pop to it. I quite like it. It felt really good. I just turned it over a little bit. Probably going to run off the back. Yeah. Again, to be honest, I mean, this is a great hole to demonstrate these kind of irons potentially for someone who swings like this. Okay, it's 80 mile an hour, still hitting 5 down, even though I'm trying to shallow it out a little bit, as much as I can. That's still, the peak height was 77 feet and the descent angle was 41. So if this green was actually reasonably firm in real life, it's going to do that. It's going to pitch, it's going to roll on. And if the back of the green was like this, you're going to end up down the back. So even for this player type, for this speed and this delivery, I wouldn't be fitting them into an iron like this. I'd be going the next one up. So you'd probably be going P770, you'd probably be going Apex Pro, something in that rung where you've got a 33-degree 7i that's going to launch better and spin better. That felt really good. Yeah, fraction out the toe still. There's definitely a toe strike pattern going on there, which is obviously me, but I'm sure that will be consistent across all of the clubs. So again, it'll be a fair comparison, but good to see the bad hits. And this, to be honest, so far, very, very impressive. Couple of real bad toe shots. The efficiency retains, ball speed still retains, the distance still retains, and the results have been very good. So even that from a front to back sort of gapping perspective is really good, isn't it? I mean, that's, again, a few real good hits there, couple not great hits there. Left to right's good, front to back. Really good. Moving into the AI 200, and again, it's that same look, isn't it? That's hollow body, closed off, almost bladed like back to it. So it looks really clean, looks really nice. I'd probably personally edge it to the Cobra just over this on looks, purely because I don't know if I'm a massive fan of the kind of black Apex badge. Let me know what you think in the comments, but still a lovely clean looking iron. Just maybe prefer the Cobra slightly. Top line, it looks a very similar size, to be honest. Very, very similar. A little bit more of a rounded toe, and there is just that little bit more offset. So again, from me, top line perspective, I would edge the Cobra over this, but it's still a very nice, compact, sort of players looking club. Toey. Again, I mean, it's done very well, hasn't it? Yeah, like high toe, that wasn't a good strike, to be honest. But again, 135 efficiency, pretty much the same as what we were seeing from the Cobra. From an efficiency perspective, that just means we're retaining a good amount of ball speed relative to our club speed, even though it was a miss hit. And yeah, 159 carry, that's pretty solid. That felt better. Again, it was a better strike, but it's basically an identical result. Yeah, definitely more middled. Low backspin, isn't it? That felt pretty good. Better result. Slightly better connection there. So you see that spin comes up to 4.9, but still definitely lower than I'd want to see it. Feel-wise, it definitely feels a little bit clickier than the Forged Tec. I actually think that Forged Tec, I think they've done a really good job of that, to be honest. I think it looks great, feels great, sounds great. This is a fraction higher pitch, and yeah, just a tiny bit clickier. That was a really toey one. Again, it's done phenomenally well, hasn't it? Out in the toe, maybe not quite as bad as one I had earlier with the Cobra, but still very, very toey. 4.9 spin, 18 launch, still 139 efficiency. That basically means you have not really lost any ball speed whatsoever, regardless of the fact it was quite toey, and still 153 carry. Yeah, it's as good as that on miss hits, isn't it? There we go, a little sneak peek of the Callaway versus the Cobra. I'll add them in as we go, but then at the end, I'm going to give you a full breakdown. So yeah, just a quick glimpse there of the Callaway versus Cobra. Right, into the Mizuno Pro 245. Let's just get it out of the way now. It's going to be hard to beat, isn't it, looks-wise? That is sleek, it's clean, it's sexy. The Mizuno logo is just cool, isn't it? It's just a cool logo, and the way they've got the Mizuno Pro logo running down the toe section now as well, the way it's kind of edged in. I mean, yeah, it's going to be seriously hard to beat that from a looks perspective. Again, I'd obviously love to hear your thoughts. Top line and how it looks down by the ball. I'm actually just going to grab the Cobra quickly, because I tell you what, compared to the Cobra, it's actually fractionally smaller than the Cobra, but a not too dissimilar shape. It just looks fractionally more compact top line. Again, I mean, having that in the bag, the way that looks from behind, the way that looks down by the ball, it's just, yeah, again, it's got players written all over it. It's better, I tell you what though, it's still a little bit thin. And that is a great result. Yep, still a tiny bit out the bottom. Set there, you see 14 mil low. We probably want it about 8 to 9 mil low is perfect. So 14 is definitely a bit skinny. Still good ball flight, 81 feet in the air, 43 descent, 153 carry, comparable launch and spin, 135 efficiency. Still very good for a miss hit. That felt better. That was a really good strike. Looked like a good ball flight, didn't it? Yep, 10 mil low, better. 18.5 launch, 5.5 spin on 3.7. Efficiency, I'd say, on all of them so far is fairly comparable on a good one. Again, 84 feet, 44 descent. Good ball flight. That was horrific. What a result that is, because that was toey. Yeah. Just love a toe strike when I'm swinging slow for some reason. But again, good efficiency, good carry, good result. Again, really good on miss hits. That was good. That was a really good strike. Yeah, I mean, feel-wise, I'm not sure, if I'm honest. Yeah, perfect strike, 9 mil low. Still spins kind of high fours, like it's not really jumping up with this at all. Probably in a similar bracket to the others. But yeah, feel-wise, I'm not quite sure that old tagline is necessarily true anymore. There we go, a little snapshot with the Mizuno Pro added in as well. I did say it'd be quick. Right, moving into the Ping i530, another iron that's done fantastically well for us here in the studio. Again, it's that same clean back hollow body look. The only thing is kind of just at the top end of the club in that toe section there. It's a bit jaggier, so the toe kind of jumps out a little bit more. It's not quite as flat from the back, so maybe it doesn't look quite as clean as the Mizuno or the Cobra, but still a very nice looking club. And again, for this category of club, I mean, you put that down by the ball, it looks super compact. I mean, I think Ping do quite a clever thing where they kind of almost chamfer off the back edge of this, so you can only really see kind of that bit there. You can't really see the whole bit, but even then, down at the ball, it looks very compact, very nice. Heel to toe doesn't look very, very long at all. Actually, very similar to the Mizuno. So I was actually very similar to the first one I hit with the Mizuno. Or was it? Because that's done amazingly well. That was thin, that was at the bottom. Yeah, 12 mil low. Again, the numbers are good, aren't they? 20 launch, 5.1 backspin, 135 efficiency seems to be the number on the miss hits, around that 135. But again, still 87 feet in the air, nearly 45 descent from a thin, which is fantastic. And again, 154 carry. Look at the ball flight. That felt better. Ooh. Got some pop to it, which is great as long as we still retain height and we retain land angle. Again, that spin there, 4.3. I mean, yeah, that's a good strike underneath the red line, which is good. 5 mil low, 138 efficiency, really good efficiency. But yeah, that spin, 4.3, which unfortunately doesn't surprise me about this iron. Generally, if you need to get spin down a little bit, great option. Again, thin, but wow. This thing just does absolutely amazing on thin shots, doesn't it? Yeah, 12 mil low, slightly out the toe. Again, there's that 135 efficiency number, 150 carry. Good, great ball flight, 84 feet in the air, 44 descent. I mean, this so far that's really standing out on the miss hits. I'll be honest, I don't think I've hit many good with any of the irons so far. Swinging like this, I'm not gonna lie, it's quite a struggle. Oh my God. Oh, that didn't feel good. What is that all about? Yeah, it's just super low toe. I mean, not a good strike. Still 135 efficiency. Still around 150 carry. Right next to the hole with a dead straight ball flight. I mean, I'll need to try and get some good ones for this to actually make it a fair comparison. But so far, the bad ones have been absolutely outstanding. How you doing, buddy? Come on in. How you doing? Likes to come and say hello every now and again, don't you, hey? And get a bit lonely. Problem is you don't want to leave. That actually didn't feel too bad. We are a fraction low again, but it's not shabby at all, that. Yeah, pretty damn good, that, actually. Good efficiency. Yeah, again, I'll have a quick look at the average numbers. There we go, I530 added in. I mean, those dispersion circles are pretty close, aren't they? Right, moving into the club that's been around since about 1764, the Taylormade P790. I mean, it does feel like it's been around for a long time. I think this is like Gen 4 now. Like, it's been around a while, but it's been one of the best in this category for a long time, hence why the brand has remained and they've just kind of tweaked it and sort of brought out new generations. Again, hollow body, same clean sort of back look. I mean, you've got the chrome bar running through the middle, so a little bit different to some of the others. The satin finish with the chrome kind of gives it a nice little bit of contrast. Looks really, really nice. For me personally, I'd probably still edge towards Mizuno or Cobra, a little bit cleaner in my opinion, but I'd love to hear yours. And down by the ball, still looks compact heel to toe, I would say. Sorry, dog's probably in the way. Still looks compact heel to toe. Top line probably looks marginally bigger in the 790 now than in a couple of the others, a little bit stubbier maybe, but again, it's still not big, still nice, compact looking club. And again, having that in the bag, pulling that out, how it looks in the bag, and looking at that down behind the ball, again, you just would not grumble at that at all. Again, Toei, the pattern remains. I did tell you it'd be consistent. But again, what a result. I mean, it's still around that 150 carry. I mean, these numbers, they're just almost like, I mean, do we even need the average numbers at the end? I mean, 18.7 launch, 4.9 backspin, a little bit more efficiency out of that, to be fair, on the miss hit, 138, 151 carry. Again, the ball flight was a little bit on the low side, but generally for a miss hit, it's fantastic. That felt nice. Yeah, great result that. 0 side spin, that's what we like. Good fractionally low and toey, but 10 mil low's not bad. Good spin on that, 5,700, 135 efficiency, peak height 88, 45 descent, much better ball flight, good shot. Shot feel-wise, I'd say it's probably similar to the Ping. You definitely can still feel it. It's a bit hollow body, it's a bit poppy, it's a tiny bit clicky, you know, none of these are really gonna have that super dull forged feel. I'd say actually the Cobra so far has probably been the closest to that. But yeah, it's actually a very similar feel. That felt good. Get up. Yeah, touch short maybe, but I think I did swing that fractionally slower. 79 mile an hour. Actually just spinning really well this head, 5,700. That's been a couple now that have been sort of mid to high fives in spin, which, to be honest, is great. Yeah, nice. Definitely getting on with this head a lot better. Go on. Ooh. We'll take that. Yeah, definitely just finding strike a lot better. I mean, the strike pattern's a lot tighter. Again, it's always going to be impossible to take out the human element of this completely. I'm clearly just clicking a lot better with this head, same as if you watched my last video where we did the game improvement irons. The Ping clicked way better with Dave, and this strike-wise, I can find strike, I'm hitting it straighter, I'm hitting it more consistently. So yeah, this is clicking really well with me. There we go, P790 added in, and yeah, I mean, you can see that average spin, the highest so far. Moving into the Titleist T200, this again goes into the category with the Mizuno and the Cobra for me, up there, probably just behind the Mizuno, I would say for me. That really clean look, love the Titleist logo, very clean, very simple. And again, down by the ball, a very compact iron. Again, it's sitting back in that same kind of category with the Mizuno, very compact top line, heel to toe looks really nice. Again, same thing, having that in the bag and looking down at that behind the ball, it's a lovely club. These did get a rep for being a bit clicky, so it's going to be interesting to see how it compares. Not a bad shot straight out of the gate. Again, fraction low maybe, but whew. No, I didn't really get that it was more clicky or louder than the P790, if I'm completely honest. I think it was actually fairly similar. Yeah, fraction low in the head. 133 efficiency, actually not great, to be honest, compared to some of the others. 135 has normally been around the standard, so 133 maybe not quite as good, but 154 carry, straight down the line. Great result. That felt nice as well. You could say maybe it's a fraction clackier, like maybe a little bit. That was very marginally heady, but still pretty good. 136 efficiency, very nice. 5,500 spin. Again, really nice from a spin number perspective. 86 feet, 44.5 descent. Good ball flight too. I mean, it is a lovely compact looking head behind the ball. I mean, if you love the Titleist irons, which were always, I don't know, linked with maybe the better player, obviously that's not true at all, but you love the brand, you still want an iron that looks like a player's iron, looks compact down by the ball, but is that bit stronger in loft. It's going to give you that bit more distance and that bit more oomph. This is, yeah, perfect. Again, it was an okay strike. I wouldn't say it was the absolute best. Yeah, again, to be honest, because that's slightly higher up on the face, 5600 spin is still really good. Great efficiency, 135. Still 150 carry. Great ball flight. Yeah, I'm liking the ball flight on this. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all. Woo. Yeah, pretty much perfect that, like 7 mil low. 55 spin. Again, that spin's just been so consistent, hasn't it? 55 spin. Again, ball flight, not bad, 83 feet, but yeah, I've enjoyed hitting this one as well. That was terrible. Again, I mean, got a bit of a kick left, but for that strike, that was just very much out the toe. Yeah, very, very toey. Didn't feel good. Again, spin retains really well. Efficiency 133, carry still around 150. Yeah, impressive. There we go, the T200 added in. I mean, again, great spin, 5500, very comparable to the 790. Couple yards more out of it, but yeah, standard deviation on spin. It just seemed like it wanted to do the same thing almost over and over again, this. And last but certainly not least is the Srixon ZX5. And finally, we're breaking the mold because it looks a little bit more like a traditional cavity back design, like undercut design, not like a flush back like all the other hollow bodies. So yeah, let me know what you think. Would you prefer a cavity back design? Do you like how the hollow bodies look with the flush, clean back? I don't mind it. I mean, it's edgy Srixon. They've got a lot of lines going on. It still looks quite cool. Bit of a chunkier sole. Obviously got the V-sole design on here, which is great for turf interaction. And down by the ball, yeah, it's not the smallest top line in the world, to be honest. It kind of looks similar-ish to the P790. It's got a little bit of heft to it, but it's still a reasonably nice, compact-looking head down by the ball. I'd be more than happy to play that. Srixon, again, a great rep for feel and feeling like a nice, fully forged iron. So let's see. Felt pretty good. Yeah, lovely. Great result. It's probably one of the best strikes with this club I think I've hit so far. Yeah, again, pretty perfect really, around that sort of 8-9 mil low. Backspin does come down a little bit interestingly, 48. I mean, that's a bit lower than I was expecting to see from that shot. Again, good ball flight still, 87 feet peak height, 44 descent, 152 carry. Lovely. Feel-wise, I would say it doesn't feel like a proper forged iron, like it's still got a little bit of hardness to it, a little bit of kind of clackiness to it. Definitely not quite as bad as the T200, I would say, but I'm actually going to go back at the end and hit a couple more with a Forged Tec from Cobra, because that to me in my head, it was about 100 shots ago now I actually hit that, but that to me in the head still feeling more like a fully forged iron than this, to be honest. Oh, that was bad. That was not good. It's a very good result. Now it's kind of toe, high toe. Yeah, like that's not a good strike. Again, even the spin there, 45, retained reasonably well when we compare it to a good one. Ball flight still done well. Carry still 146. Efficiency 132. Again, it's holding its own. And that was actually a fraction at the neck, I think. Yeah, a little bit low heel. Again, not really striking it great, to be honest, but I haven't really hit any of these irons particularly great. Actually, 790 was probably the best, to be fair. But yeah, great result. That was better. Yeah, I like that. Still a little bit toe, but 136 efficiency, 156 carry. That's strong. That was pretty good. Yeah, I think that was more middled. In zero side spin. Woo. Yeah, pretty much perfect strike there. And yeah, great result. Just going to hit one back in the Cobra quickly, just to see feel-wise, just refresh my memory. Yeah, that actually feels really good. Right, let's have a quick run through this data. First up, I'll show you the club delivery data. Now, obviously, this wasn't my swing. I was trying my best to keep it as consistent as possible, but I'm not a robot. But swing speed, 80, 79.5, 80.5, 79.5, 79.5. Tiny bit quicker with the T200, to be honest. I did notice that. It just felt easier to swing quicker, which is odd. So that was fractionally quicker. Efficiency, we'll kind of run down ball speed in a minute, so I won't touch on that too much now. You can see the average strike was all pretty much in a very similar area. It was very comparable. Angle of attack, 4, 3.5, 4, 3.5, 4, 4.9, par, 4, 4, 4.5, 4.2, 3.3, 2.1. Again, fractionally less inside with the T200, but they're all in a very similar region of down, similar in to out, face 0.11, 1.41, 1.5. Again, very similar. So again, I did as good as I could possibly do. Actually, let's just flick the T200 out and put the Srixon in. Srixon ZX5 now down there. Again, 80 mile an hour swing speed, 4.4 degrees down, 2.7 in to out. Strike was a little bit more centered, to be fair, but again, I'm trying to do my best I possibly can. I'm not a robot, but I feel like it's at least a decent, fair comparison of the heads. Right, ball data, so essentially performance data. First thing we're going to touch on is peak height angle of descent, because that's very important for these style of heads, for the type of person that's generally trying to gain distance, doesn't have the most speed in the world. So if we can get a bit more height, a bit more land angle while retaining a lot of distance, that's the perfect combo. So very important in these heads. Forged Tec, 79 feet, 42.5 descent. Not great. Would want to see it higher. AI 200, 84 feet, 43.6 descent. Slightly better, but still low. Mizuno Pro 245, 80 feet, 42.8 descent. Again, not great, really. I530, 79 feet, 42 descent. So the worst out of all of these heads in terms of height and descent. Doesn't surprise me. It's pretty hot, pretty low spin, that head. P790, the best of the bunch. 87 feet, 44.8 cents. That's getting almost acceptable. That's pretty good, to be honest. The T200, which we'll add in a minute, we can only compare 6 at a time on one screen. So T200 was 85 feet, 44.1 descent. So again, pretty close to the 790, not bad. And the ZX5, 86 feet, 44.6 descent. So again, a very close second to the P790. So there, the I530 being the lowest peak and descent, and the 790 having the best peak and descent, which will tie into the launch and spin, of course. You know, anything that launches better and spins better is going to have a higher peak height and a better angle of descent. So if we look at the P790, 20 launch, 55, versus I530 at 18.5 and 48. So lower launch and lower spin, creating a lower ball flight. Ball speeds have been very comparable, aren't they? 109, 109, 109, 109. 108, 108.5. I mean, there's not really a lot there, is there? Again, the ZX5 and the P790 launching the best. The rest fairly comparable. AI 200 kind of in between. Spin, again, the Srixon and the 790 doing a good job. Again, I think the T200 did a great job. We'll add that in a second. Lowest spin being AI 200 and the I530. Again, whether these things are good or bad, it's going to depend on you. If you need lower launch, lower spin, great I530. If you need that little bit more height, a little bit more spin, great P790. Not necessarily good or bad, depends on the player. And then from a distance perspective, I mean, again, there's not much there, is there? 5 yards from longest to shortest, shortest being the P790, longest being the AI 200. But again, I feel like that could probably flip slightly depending on the day, or the gap could certainly close. Again, if we get more spin, that's going to create less distance, but that spin is helpful. It's not a bad thing at all. Again, if you said to me you could have the 790 carrying 150, you're going to lose 5 yards, but you're going to get better height, better descent, versus the AI 200 that you're going to gain 5 yards, but the ball flight's going to be lower, hotter, come in faster, roll out more, give you less stopping power. I'm taking the P790 any day of the week there. But from a performance perspective, really it's going to come down to you in terms of your delivery. What do you need? And all of these heads offer something slightly different. So as always, performance is pretty similar. It's not a million miles apart. It's never going to be in a category like this, but always get fitted. And quickly to add in why I never look at total on these, because some people will go, oh, that rolled out loads more than that. But if it lands on the green, it simulates it stopping faster. Some of these wouldn't have landed on the green, so therefore it bounces and it rolls on and it rolls down the back. You know? So you can't really look at total distance on these at all. It's not a fair representation. Got to look at carry. Sorry, I forgot the Titleist. So now the Srixon has been replaced with the T200 at the bottom. Again, did a great job. Launch at 19, spin at 55. Again, it was not bad from a peak height and angle of descent perspective, was it? So ball speed, again, it's right in the mix, isn't it? At 109.5, actually maybe the best, probably was the best. But again, I did swing that fractionally faster, so you have to take that into account. Really, they're all very much of a muchness from a ball speed perspective. Again, good launch and good spin, and 153 carry. So yeah, again, did really well. Good ball flight. It's probably a good blend, that, to be honest. Good ball flight, good spin, and good distance. It's really does tick quite a lot of boxes. Right, the business end of the video, let's run down the winner of each category. And first up is looks, which I'm more than happy to give to Mizuno, and I think a lot of you would agree with me there. The looks from the back, super, super clean. Just, it's a sexy iron, isn't it? And even down by the ball, I'm happy to package that as one from the back and down by the ball, because even the top line, it looks compact, frames the ball lovely. Yeah, it's just a beautiful iron, so Mizuno takes that all day long. Now, feel and sound might be a bit of a controversial one, but for me, it's actually quite an easy win for the Cobra. And you probably gathered that by the end where I went back and I hit it again. And I was like, yeah, do you know what? It was exactly the same as how I remembered it. Felt softer, felt more like a forged iron, sounded duller. Again, that's going to be subjective, but for me, sound and feel, it's the Cobra Forged Tec. Now, distance-wise, I mean, you obviously saw the club that went the furthest, but I think I'm going to package that into sort of like an overall performance bundle, and I think I'm going to edge it to the T200 just because it had the best sort of overall in each area. It was almost as long as the longest. The launch was still great, the spin was still great, therefore the ball flight and the land angle was still very good, paired with good distance. So overall, even on the miss hits, it was very impressive. So overall, as a performance package, I'm going to give that to the T200. But out and out forgiveness, I think I would edge that to the Ping i530. It just seemed almost anywhere you hit that in the face, it just kind of seemed to do a very similar thing. The efficiency was still great, the distance was still great. Just got to bear in mind with that obviously the launch and spin is quite low. So if you struggle with height, it might not be the best head for you. But forgiveness, go in Ping i530. So the big one, overall best player's distance iron of 2024 goes to the Titleist T200. And that's because I feel it's very good in every single area. It won the performance, so it's a really good blend of performance. The forgiveness, still very, very strong, pretty much as good as anything else out there. Can Ping might edge it, but it's still great. In terms of the looks fantastic in my opinion. Super clean, super sexy. Love the Titleist logo, the compactness down by the ball. It looks like a player's iron down by the ball. So it ticks every box, apart from maybe it does sound a fraction clicky, but in fairness, they all do. Apart from the Cobra won that quite comfortably. The rest, they've all got a little bit of a higher pitch click feel to them. So that's probably the only slight negative. But apart from that, every single box is ticked from the Titleist T200. And that's why it's my best player's distance iron of 2024. So there we go. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing. I'm trying my hardest to grow the channel, but damn, it is hard to get people to subscribe. So if you wouldn't mind, that would be really appreciated. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts of this video in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. It really is appreciated. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.